whenever I ask women like what they find attractive on men, one of the things that I always usually hear is shoes. That pretty much becomes the very first thing. Like at least 1 out of 4 says shoes. And so then I started paying attention to women's shoes. And then I started noticing the slight correlation between what their shoe design says about their personality. Now, for you, what do you think your shoe design says about the personality? Maybe about yourself or about the person that wears it? Is there kind of an idea that goes behind the design? Is it just pretty much like, I like the way that it looks, or is it kind of a statement?
It could be a number of things. It's interesting because for women, because we wear heels, depending on what type of heel you wear and what length of the heel it is, it actually kind of determines what your whole leg looks like. So like certain heels bring out certain muscles, certain like straps can make you look like, you have thinner ankles or thicker ankles, or whatever it is, it kind of determines the shape of your legs, which is really important. When women wear certain shoes, I think it's more about the feeling we get when we wear them, and it's not a physical feeling, because a lot of the times, like, Christian Louboutin is a perfect example of that, because he makes beautiful shoes, but they hurt like hell. Like, they're so uncomfortable and they're stiff and blah, 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 but it's the way they make you feel, so you kind of like put up with the pain, even though I know that doesn't resonate with men well, but it's just kind of like a feeling of like, I have arrived. Like, it's kind of like your car, it's kind of like what you roll up in at a party. They're what carry you through the world. I heard a story about this guy that was researching this, actually, like what is the big deal with men in shoes, and it made so much sense to me. And he was saying how women in this society, especially now, have so much pressure on how they look like, how much they weigh, like everything is just so physical. And so he was saying that, for a woman who is, for example, works like a 9-to-5 job, and she can't get up and look at herself every 2 seconds in the mirror to make sure her hair is good and her makeup's right, if she's wearing like the perfect pair of shoes, all you have to do is look down and you instantly like feel better about yourself, because you're like, I look good. Because it's what you see, and I think it's one of those things where every time you look down, you just want to feel good. Right.
When a woman looks at her feet and she's wearing your shoes, what do you think is reflected back at her?
I think that same thing. Just kind of this assurance of how dope she looks at that moment.
When you design the shoe, do you say this looks dope? Is that what you?
Yeah.
That's how it passes the test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be something that I would wear.
Right.
And I think of outfits, and I think of, I also think of comfort. I mean, I don't make things that are incredibly uncomfortable. Yeah, I mean, I just view it as this is what's going to carry you through the world. And I want it to be perfect for that, for any occasion.
For those who want to keep up with what you're doing, find more of your products, find you on the web, anything like that, where could they go? Where should they go?
You can go to my blog. Actually, you should just go to my website. It's just melodyehsani.com, and then there's a link to my blog and my Twitter.
Okay.
It's probably the best way.
Last question is basically, for all the other aspiring artists and designers and musicians and all those other creative people out there that want to be able to do what you do, what's your words of advice to them?
There's so much. I could teach a course.
Yeah.
I would say probably the most important thing that I've learned in terms of creating is to be able to find whatever way that you can, whatever tool it is, whether it's prayer, meditation, to really be able to go in and look inside for resources. And I know that's such a cliche thing to say, like everybody's like everything is within you, but it really is. And I remember the moment that I started doing that was a big turning point in my career, when I stopped looking outside of myself, like, oh, I need to get so-and-so to help me, or I need to get so-and-so to wear my stuff, or I need to get so-and-so to whatever. As soon as I like really went in and I was just like, this is what I love and I'm going to design it because I love it and do it because I love it regardless of what anybody says, and I'm just going to do me unapologetically. And I kind of enlisted God as my business partner. I know God is like a tricky word for some people, whatever you want to call it, whether it's the universe, the great creator, whatever it is. As soon as I enlisted that higher power into my life and I was like, you're going to be my business partner, like I got this part down, you need to help me on all these other parts. And I really believed in that as a resource is when I started to move.